Selling digital products is one of only a handful of ways that you'll likely hit 10K months online. I would know I've been doing some sort of online job for almost 10 years, and digital products are by far my favorite. I love them for the same reason that most people do. I realized, with digital products, there's no significant startup cost and no massive overhead, which is kind of fabulous. And the only things I actually needed to create them was a laptop, which I already had, and software or two, and some time. It's also such a beautiful business model because when someone actually buys your digital product, you just set up your checkout system to automatically deliver the product. So right after your customer buys, they get an email or an immediate download with the actual item. So it takes literally none of your time to actually fulfill an order, which is so different from the makerspace and honestly like most businesses. Of course, this also means you don't really have inventory problems, you don't need to scale a massive team as demand grows, and it can just be pretty much you and your laptop making 10K months. But I know one of the biggest struggles is picking, well, which digital product is actually going to work, or which is actually worth me putting all that time and effort into making. So we're going to discuss a bunch of proven digital product ideas which sell. Then also we're going to talk about how do you actually market and sell enough products to hit 10K months, what most people get wrong, and the specific order I'd suggest you building and launching that digital product business in, what to focus on when, because if you do it the wrong way, it's going to be a struggle, and I don't really want that for you. So truly, this is the complete guide, start to finish, the exact plan of what you should do to grow your digital product business and sell them successfully. Now let's start with, what the heck should I sell? Which idea is the right one? Let's look at some proven options. Number one, website templates. You make a pretty site design, and instead of giving it to one client, you sell it again and again and again to everyone who loves it online. In my last video, I tallied up the sales of a popular template shop based off their publicly shared sales numbers and estimated that Big Cat Creative has made well over $2 million with their templates over the year. Number two, courses. Jenna Kutcher primarily sells online courses, and she recently shared that she made $9,249 in a day, which just goes to show the online education industry is doing quite well, and a 10K month is definitely within the realm of possibility. Number three, memberships. How does creating exercise videos, meditation audios, and writing recipes sound to you? It sounded pretty good to Melissa Wood Tepperberg, and that's exactly what she put into her membership, which is making an estimated $16.5 million a year. Now, if all of those feel like a little bit too intense of an idea to start with, here's a few more beginner-friendly options, which, while they might not bring in $16.5 million a year, they do pretty well. Canva templates in whatever niche you can think of. I've seen wedding signage and invitation template shops, which basically sell like a specifically themed Canva designed customers who can then like edit in the names of their guests so they can get really beautiful guest seating charts and invitation suites for their wedding for a fraction of the usual cost. I've also seen this done in the social media space to great success, making gorgeous editable social graphic templates. Copy templates are also massively popular, as are font licenses, stock photos, calculators, and spreadsheets. Think things like net worth calculators and profit and loss sheets. I've also seen branding templates, party game printables, Lightroom presets, Notion templates, legal templates, and more. Now, a really key factor in hitting your income goal is knowing how many of these do you actually need to sell to hit a 10K month. And that's all going to be based on the price point of the product. So courses sell for anywhere between like $50 to $4,000, but I'd say the most legit ones fall into like the $750 to $2,000 range. Website templates range from $100 to $1,500, though most often I see them in about the $400 range. Memberships tend to be priced like Melissa's at something like $15 a month, but I've seen them go as low as $5 a month or as high as $500 a month. Canva templates are typically in the $10 to $50 range. Fonts are often around $25 to $50. Stock photos are often sold in packages of say like 20 or 30 photos for $20 to $50. Or I've also seen it done as a membership model from anywhere of like $19 to $50 a month. Copy templates are often pricier at $50 to $300. Calculators and spreadsheets vary a lot, somewhere between like $10 to $100. Branding templates, similar to the website templates, a few hundred to even $1,000 I've seen for sort of like limited availability templates. Party game printables tend to be on the cheaper side of things, from like $5 to $20. Lightroom presets I've seen sold from anywhere between $20 and $100. Notion templates are often around $20 to $70, and legal templates average about $300 to $400. So how do you make a 10K month with these things? Let's take a middle of the range product price. Say we want to sell a website template for $400. To make a 10K month, we need to sell 25 templates each month, which brings me to conversion rates. A conversion rate is basically a number of people who see your thing compared to the number of people who actually buy it. It's often formatted as a percentage. Let's say 1.5% of people who see your thing actually buy. So that means to get 25 sales with a 1.5% conversion rate, you need 1,667 people to see your template, which then begs the question, how the heck do you get 1,667 people to see and consider buying your template? This brings me to the truth. The number one thing standing between you daydreaming of this digital product business model and it actually working is an audience on an email list. With one-to-one services, we can just go meet a couple of people at a networking event, hit it off, and one of them hires you. And because services are priced very high because the customer is basically paying for your time, then that totally works. Conversion rates on one-to-one services, where you're doing more like intimate marketing strategies, tend to be higher. But to sell 25 templates a month to strangers on the internet is going to take a lot more than meeting 3 people at some sort of a networking event. But honestly, don't start despairing. I don't say this to pour cold water on your dreams. Building an audience can be honestly a heck of a lot of fun. Look at every single influencer out there. Being an influencer is such a popular job, and the entire influencer business model is basically 1, grow a following, and 2, sell other people's products to that audience or have brands sponsor you to speak to your audience. Now, the only difference between digital product business and an influencer is that you sell your own product to your own audience instead of affiliating or promoting another business's products to your audience. So you do need to a little bit go the influencer route to build the audience to have the potential 1,667 eyeballs a month to hit your sales goal. Now here's the difference between successful digital product shops and not successful digital product shops. All the examples that we spoke about before, Jenna Kutcher's 10K day, Big Cat Creative with their $2 million in template sales, they've done this. They've mastered being basically their own influencer to send their own audience to their own digital products. But how do you build that audience? How do you get a lot of people to see your offers? Which of course results in a lot of people buying your offers. Versus the unsuccessful digital product shops, which maybe have the best product in the world, but if they're not getting traffic and people to see those offers, they might still get the same 1.5% conversion rate, but 1.5% of 10 people is very different than 1.5% of 10,000 people. Now let's go through some pros and cons of common marketing strategy, because there's one in here which is a goldmine for your digital product business, and hint, both Jenna and Big Cat Creative do it. Here's 4 really great, super scalable marketing options. All of these work for building the audience to sell your digital products to. First is social media. Second, podcast guesting. Third, ads. And 4th, long-term content creation. And by that, I mean things like blogging, YouTube, and podcasting. So is social a good option? Let's look and see. The pros of social is that it's really great at relationship building. People get to follow your life daily, and it tends to be a platform which people show up on in a very sort of like unpolished way, so it builds a really deep relationship. Another pro is that there is a really good virality potential from new features. Like when you're the first to hop on Reels or whatever the next Reels is, you should hop on that if you want to go viral. Con is the algorithms. You don't have a direct connection to your people. There's an algorithm in between you two. Also, paid ads. The platform will indeed let you get in touch with your people, get around the algorithm when you pay for it, that is. Also, it's kind of a like rented land situation. You don't own the platform, so someone else is making and changing the rules, and you've just got to live with them. Also, there's platform popularity changes. If you've built your following on a platform and it just kind of like loses steam, I think of people with like 600,000 followers on their Facebook page, that's not really great. But the biggest con is probably the fact that it's a daily grind and the comparison and mental health impacts on social media are real. Next up, ads. The pros of ads are you can get immediate results and you can spread a message in a very short period of time. So if you're having a sale for your business, you can get that sale message across to your audience that very day when it actually matters. The cons are there's a significant cost to it, and you'll probably need to hire an ads manager, which again is a cost, and also your time to manage that ads manager. And then also, interestingly, ads don't tend to convert as well as the other marketing options, so you're likely to get a slightly lower conversion rate than that 1.5% example that we've been speaking of. Next, podcast guesting. The pro to this is you're getting in front of new audiences with every new podcast that you're on. The other great thing about it is it's kind of social. And when I say social, I don't mean like social media. I mean, it's like one of the very few online marketing strategies where you actually interact with another human because you're chatting with the host of the podcast. The con is you don't build a really long-term relationship with the audience if you just guest on a podcast once, and therefore you'll also want to do another marketing strategy in addition to build the know, like, trust factor in the long term with that audience. So you'll want to direct them from that podcast that you were on to maybe your own podcast. The next is long-form content creation. So that's blogging, YouTubing, or podcasting that is your own podcast. Now, I won't hide it, this is my personal pick for the best strategy, and here's why. When you create long-form content, you build your SEO rank. Your latest reel is not going to show up in the Google results, but a blog post or really thorough podcast show notes will, which means you'll get free organic traffic from Google. I also love with long-form content that it's able to be scheduled. Right now, while you're watching this video or reading the accompanying blog post, I could be sleeping or on vacation or taking a hike or hanging out with my family, and that's all good because to you consuming this video, I'm here and present, technically. I've taken like 3-week vacations and no one in my audience has ever had a clue because all of my content is scheduled out. Also, the relationship building factor of this sort of stuff is incredible. Long-form content, someone choosing to read a multi-thousand word blog post or watch a 30-minute video or listen to an hour-long podcast, that is incredible. Now, the other thing I love with long-form content, I'm both doing my marketing and I'm kind of doing like a public service for the internet at the same time. I'm genuinely helping people for free with my long-form content, and it's also very budget-friendly for me to produce. Starting a blog literally cost me 1, a laptop, which I already had, and 2, the price of SQUARESPACE for a year. So it's really like the cheapest marketing investment you could possibly ask for. And finally, long-form content is a perfect synergy for email marketing. When you build an email list, you're going to need to actually send those subscribers content, preferably weekly, to keep it engaged. And if you're already creating blogs, you can just take that blog and put it into an email and hit send, and voila, you've just killed 2 birds with 1 stone. Because no matter which of these you choose, ads, social, podcast guesting, or long-form content on your own platform, you're also going to want to pair it with email marketing. Why? The mass marketing strategies that we just discussed is where new people find you. It's your top of funnel. And email marketing is where you can have a direct line to reach back out when it's time to sell, and where all of the statistics honestly agree sales actually take place. Email drives the most sales, full stop. Every single successful online business owner will tell you this, myself included. Campaign Monitor found that email marketing drives more conversions than any other marketing channel, including search and social. And also, email marketing generates $44 for every $1 spent. Ads has nothing on that kind of an ROI. The American Genius also found that 4.24% of visitors from email marketing buy something, compared to only 2.49% of visitors from search engine and 0.59% from social media. Now, I won't hide it, I truly believe that long-form content creation used to generate traffic, which is then sent to your email list, is the absolute best way to sell your digital products. Because I believe that so much, it's also exactly what I've done. I started with a blog, honestly, because every expert I found online said, blogging blew up my business. And I figured, well, if they're literally all saying it, I'm just gonna trust them and I'm not gonna try to reinvent the wheel here. I blogged twice a week, slowly but surely saw my traffic increase, Google started ranking my posts, and in each blog post, I would promote my email list freebies. And as the blog traffic grew, so did my email list. And when I went to go launch my first online course in 2018, it generated $18,800 in sales. Now, my second course launch later that same year went on to make over $80,000. And over the years, those same courses have made millions, but I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I spent an absolute ton of time, unpaid time, building that audience, blogging twice a week for months, even honestly, no, a year, building my email list, one single subscriber at a time. But it was definitely absolutely worth it. Content creation and email list building is the long game. It is not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's a pour an absolute ton of time and effort in now for the long-term reward later type scheme. It's basically like a snowball effect. It grows slow to start, but with consistent effort, it can become an avalanche of traffic and sales. And over the years, I've also podcasted and obviously I'm YouTubing, but I've always made sure to write a full accompanying blog post to go with each piece of content because I know that in order for that content to be found in the search results, written form is still the most likely to appear in Google. And I am so grateful I started with a blog because podcasting and video take a lot more time and effort, and they require recording and editing, which blogging doesn't. And then also you need to also write the full show notes. So you're basically doing double the work for every piece of content if you're doing a blog or a video. And so that's why I really recommend starting with a blog because it's honestly just the easiest. And then once you've mastered one platform, you can more easily add the others. Now, I'm not the only one who has found this. A past student of my Audience Academy course, Tiffany, she blogged to build her traffic to her opt-in gifts, and then she built her list to 530 subscribers. She then proceeded to launch a course to the tune of $10K, and shortly after that decided also to sell a higher touch program to the tune of $48,000. And all of that from a 500-person email list. So do take heart. Well, it is the long game. It's not like you need to build a 10,000-person list in order to start earning well from it. Speaking of which, that same course which Tiffany took, Audience Academy, is having its summer sale until July 13th when it is 25% off. Inside the course, we go through the complete strategy to building your audience, generating traffic with long-form content creation, ranking in Google, building email lists so you actually have someone to sell those digital products to. So if you've ever felt lost on how you should properly be SEOing your posts so they actually rank in Google and come up with really incredible post ideas in the first place and create opt-in gifts and editorial calendar and pick the right email marketing software and figure out how to optimize your landing pages so people actually opt into them, write subject lines for emails so they get opened, engage your list for the long term so you build an audience that adores you. Or if you want to get started on YouTubing or podcasting, then Audience Academy is for you. If you're watching this before the 13th of July, you can head to pagebrunton.com for all of the course details and info on the summer sale. Now, whatever you do, join me in the course or not, please just promise me one thing. Don't make the mistake I see so many people make. Don't build your digital product first and then be like, I'll just figure out the audience thing later. The best digital products, the ones which bring in consistently 10K a month or more, they're products that were created to serve your audience. Without an audience first, entrepreneurs most often end up building a digital product people don't want, or they don't know how to correctly position it or message it or sell it. But if you build the audience first and the digital product second, it is the fastest way to success. If you're worried to pour tons of time and effort into creating a digital product and you fear that no one's going to buy it, the best protection against that is to do your market research, validate your product idea, and then you'll be confident that you have an audience who is actually primed to purchase it. And that means you can feel calm, cool, and collected knowing that you're not launching to an empty room, but to an audience that genuinely adores you. Audience Academy is my course which shows you how to do all of this. And again, you can head to the link below to get details on it and the summer sale, but just until July 13th.